Well, welcome to this month's episode of The Breeze. Margie and Tina and I are here today to talk about what I consider to be a pretty interesting topic these days. You know, ladies, back when I was a frat boy in college, I was in a fraternity. And
you remember back that far?
I do, barely. And the motto of our fraternity was friendship, the sweetest influence. And that sort of intimates that friendship is A, an influence on you, and B, there's something sweet about a friendship that is a true friendship. And obviously it was meant to keep us together, not for college days alone, as they say. But what do you think of the word influence in that definition? Friendship, the sweetest influence.
I have never thought about that, actually, but I guess if you have a quality friendship, they have an impact on you. Mm-hmm. And if they fit you, you can learn a lot from them.
Okay.
And they can have great influence. Well, either way, positive or negative.
If they fit you, does that mean they meet your lofty standards or what?
It's like when we, kind of come together and it just works. You don't have to work at it.
Ah, that's an interesting look.
Well, you brought back some thoughts about college and friendships. I have just maybe one good friend from college that I still am keeping in touch with. Mm-hmm. I've kind of learned, not through necessarily a conscious choice, that you have seasonal friends. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you want to maintain those friendships, and sometimes you just need to let go.
Well, that's possibly true, and that brings up another interesting thought, and that is we've been through a long period of stress brought on by pandemic and politics and,
all that good stuff.
Your favorite sports teams and so on and so forth. Everybody has circles of friends, or what I would call circles of friends. Maybe you have friends that are part of a group that you go to clubs with, another circle you go to dinner with, so on and so forth. You have old friends, new friends. How has your level of friendship or your circle of friendship morphed or changed during this last couple of years?
I think for me it's been a matter of behavior. If I have some friends that I consider kind of loose with their lifestyle, I kind of put them on pause.
Pause.
Yeah.
Sounds like a social media phrase.
Yeah, it is. I haven't canceled them, which is good.
That's another phrase.
But I put them on pause because I want to observe their behavior and feel that they're safe to be around.
So you're a qualifier too.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm accusing you of being a qualifier.
I know you are.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll comment now. I think I have spent probably more time on Facebook during this time, and I have thought periodically when I see this name and face appear, I think, why am I his friend? Why am I her friend on Facebook? Why did I welcome certain people onto Facebook? Maybe it was just kind of a time of wanting to a newness and taking chances, when we're sitting at home not doing a whole lot. Mm-hmm. So I went on actually my Facebook last night to see how many friends I had, and I could not find the source. But I'm thinking, way too many.
Way too many?
Way too many, way too many. They would not miss me if I withdrew, I'm quite sure.
Withdrew, that's an interesting word to use.
Because I know you're not on Facebook, so you probably are clueless about what she's talking about.
No, I have some sort of an idea, but, it is true that, certainly you qualify friends in sort of a subconscious way or potential friends, and you watch their behavior and how you relate to them, they relate to you, whether they're interested in you at all. But that evolves over time, and either it becomes a more distant relationship or you become close friends. And then something like a pandemic comes around and you say, God, those people are really nuts. Or, I don't need to be hanging out with those folks anymore.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's the way I've seen it happen in my neighborhood. Now, Margie, you've got one of the tightest groups of friends ever in your neighborhood.
Oh, remarkable.
Yeah.
Remarkable from the beginning. I think part of it is because there are only, like 52 homes, and we all moved in there within the same 6-7 months. There's been turnover, of course, but it's very cordial. It's very pulled together and helping.
Well, that's terrific. That's terrific, and that's the way it ought to be. In crisis, people ought to pull together. And how does that sort of thing influence your behavior?
Well, you want to be a part of that culture.
Okay.
You want to be one of those that joins the crew that does for others. You kind of know who you can expect to step up when things happen and when things are sad or not going well. And I think it's an inspiration, because we all know we have plenty of time on our hands. So, if we can step out there and, except Tina, if we can kind of step out there and be with a group that's doing things, the friendship deepens if you're working together for a cause.
Okay.
Now, that's interesting, because are your friends predominantly in your neighborhood?
Yes.
Let's see, mine aren't. Mine are kind of like spread out over different things depending upon what I'm doing. My road dog, and road dog is somebody that hangs with you and travels with you. Pam, you've met her before. She has renewed her road dog status.
Lucky her.
And we're sliding down to Florida.
Okay.
And we're excited about it, But, and she doesn't live in my neighborhood, but I have some neighbors that I can call on if I need things, but we're not necessarily close.
Huh, interesting. But why isn't it more easy, if you will, just to walk next door and say hello, or walk across the street and make a close circle of friends in the neighborhood?
It's all about interest,
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. For me, it is.
So if they're not interested in what you're interested in,
unless we have something in common. I mean, normally a friendship is you have something in common.
Okay.
There's a common thread there.
all right.
I've got great neighbors and neighbors that will do things for me and I do things for them, but we don't go out and have dinner necessarily. We'll do, a monthly dinner maybe or something like that.
Do
and catch up.
you ever get in a situation where a neighbor says, let's go shooting, or let's go bowling, or let's go, whatever, and you don't really want to do that, but you do it anyway because they're friends?
No.
That's interesting.
I know. Now you say, let's go have some wine.
Well, that's because you're
a jacuzzi.
interested in wine.
Absolutely.
Well,
And you got my point.
I got your point, but it's not necessarily the way I go about things.
Okay. That's why you're
tell
done.
us. Tell
Yeah,
us.
that's why I'm done. Well, and so that if I were to do something like that, I might find something new that I like, get out of my comfort zone, which would be a good thing, I think. And the other thing is that if I don't like it, I don't let it influence me. I don't let friends influence me in negative ways, or ways that I'm ultimately not going to be interested in. But I think you have to reach out a little more than that, Tina, just to be real honest.
I do. But my time is more limited because I work.
Yeah.
And
Well, my time's limited because I'm old. I just turned another year older.
we both did.
Yeah, I know.
Happy belated, and thank you.
You're welcome.
But I mean, I feel that friendship for me is a commitment. And meaning that commitment of time, a commitment of reaching out and making sure that person's okay, checking on them to see, is there anything I can do? I feel that that has a lot of value, but also there's a commitment of time. And I feel for myself, if I can't make that time commitment, then I don't want to disappoint that person or make them feel that I'm not genuinely interested in them. So in a way, my new friendships I'm very cautious about because I don't know that I can give them what they may need.
Okay.
So maybe I'm a little bit more analytical than some.
Well, maybe. I don't know. But basically, you have to learn how to say the word no in a gracious manner. You know what I mean?
I can do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Well, you can.
Yeah, I can do that.
Well, women have been saying no to me all my damn life.
Well, maybe we should define friendship and the levels of friendship.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Levels of friendship. One would be a total stranger. You might see this person frequently around Sun City, once or twice, have a short conversation, that's it. Still
Okay.
remains a total stranger. A colleague, someone you work with, take an exercise class with, or some party. You know their name, but that's about it. It becomes more of a colleague. You show up at the same things.
Let me add to that. You might not know their name, but you know their face. Lots of us forget names.
Yes, and you can approach a person and say, I know your face, but can you tell me your name? That in itself is a compliment. An acquaintance, you know this person and spend occasional, a decent amount of time. Rarely go out of your way to hang out, but okay if at the same place. You don't actually have to like them. And then the fourth is one that you know a friendship reasonably well, enjoy spending time, but you likely won't be going out of your way. Now, none of these are wrong. I have two more, but none of these are wrong. It just can be, and they maybe can flow. A close, intimate friend actually care about their feelings and actions.
Actually care.
Honesty, discretion, faithful, loyal, comfort through trials, may share the same life goals even, and they generally bring out the best in each other. And then the sixth one is family and significant others. You can say, I love you to, I love you without strings attached.
Okay. And there's some conflict that could arise there because if someone considers you an intimate and you consider them a stranger, then they,
We got some talking to do.
we got some talking to do. That's exactly right. Okay, well, let me ask you this question. You ever run into the situation where someone is obviously reaching out to you in a way that maybe you're not ready for? It's like rushing into a romance, I guess, or rushing into a friendship. I mean, you don't want to get involved with that person necessarily until you experience more. Do you ever feel, I guess the word would be guilted out for not reaching out back to them?
I have. That brings to mind a friend that lives up north. She's a snowbird. And I always tell her, I says, when you come down, let me know ahead of time. So she comes down and she says, oh, I've been here 2 weeks. And you're going like, really? I mean, why not let me know so then I could have spent time with her? And so now she's got company coming, et cetera, and I'd love to see her.
But you put her on pause because of that.
Well, not put her on pause. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to see her.
I don't even know what that is, really.
I'll show you.
Yeah,
I won't
okay.
put you on pause.
Yeah, okay, that'd be good. Okay, but I understand what you're saying. And it happens a lot in Sun City where you're meeting a lot of new people. If you're involved at all, you're meeting a lot of new people. Just living here, being pleasant to people, suddenly you have common interests or whatever.
And you're a friend magnet. People just
Oh, yeah, that's right.
love you.
Yeah, for a while. Well, no discussion about friendship and the benefits and the hazards, pitfalls would be complete without getting the opinion of some people here that live here in Sun City. So we went out on the street and got some opinions. Let's take a look.
For many, friendship is very important to their well-being. Is it to you? And if so, how?
Absolutely. Friendship to me is a connection between people. It's a vibe. You just feel good when you've got good friends. I try to make as many friends as possible and keep them.
Well-being is our topic, and friendship is usually a very important part of that. How would you define your friendships, and why is it important to you?
I can't imagine life without secure friendships that you can rely on. My husband is my best friend. But I have other friends as well, and it's the knowing that no matter what happens, you've got someone to go to that will help you regardless of what your situation might be, whenever it might happen. That's it for me.
Thank you.
Very important.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well-being is very important to us for 22, and friendship is a very important part of that. How has the last couple of years impacted your friendships?
Well, we've made a lot of new friends because you can't go anywhere, and you have to be able to be with friends, otherwise you'll go crazy. And we've been able to have yard get-togethers where everybody has been socially distanced. But around this time now, everybody is really getting cabin fever, and it's time for, at least we think, time for everybody to get together again. So that's what we feel.
Friendship is a very important part of well-being. How has it changed for you in the last couple of years?
Well, it was pretty tough going through the pandemic, but lucky for my wife and I, we had some neighbors that got the vaccine early, and we could still have some social life, even with the problems that existed.
Awesome. We're talking about our well-being for 22, and it appears friendship is a very critical part of it. How would you define your friendships, and what aspect is most important to you?
How would I describe my friendships? Well, we have maybe 3 or 4 couples that we're really good friends with, and I would have to say they're family. That's how I would describe them. They are my family away from family.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that was those were some interesting answers,
Yeah,
and definitely show a breadth of opinion. But basically, you alluded to it earlier, and that was, you sometimes you think of a friend from your past, or maybe just somebody you haven't been in contact with for a few months. So do you reach out beyond just liking what they say on Facebook?
Well, I think it depends upon the region of where they are. I mean, I have some friends that are still in Virginia, and they come down 95, and I would love to see them. We used to, go to lunch and everything together, and they've stopped here before with the kids when they're growing up, and her daughter now is a I don't know if she's a rock singer or not, but it's really kind of cool to see the girls grow up. So yeah, I'd love to see them, and they have a second home in Savannah. So one of these times when she comes down and has time, I'm going to see her. So yes, I do reach out, and I do want to rekindle that friendship.
How do you reach out?
Facebook. I leave her a message.
That's not reaching out.
Yeah, it is.
That's
But
just,
that's my definition,
that's
not
just
yours.
cold.
Not yours. And she was happy to hear from me.
Okay.
You know?
Did she hit like?
No, she actually sent me an IM.
Okay.
Okay.
I quit squabbling.
I love you too.
I think one of the things about that I do like about Facebook and friends is that I'm back in contact with friends from middle school, high school. I don't see them again. I mean, we had one major reunion up in Minnesota, but since then everybody, nobody's been inclined to take the role in that. But it can conjure up nice feelings about past relationships. And maybe we ought to take inventory of our Facebook friends that way and say, why is this person on my Facebook? Do I want to know this person better? Am I kind of, trying to preview what he's or she is doing? Why am I carrying them as friends? and then you get their friends, and then there you get their friends, and pretty soon it can be a real encumbrance. So what this discussion says to me is that I really need to go on Facebook and take some people off.
Take an inventory.
There's no
Yeah.
purpose. They don't need to know anything about my life. I don't need to know about their life. And see what I end up with, and I'm sure it's going to be quite a lot of people. Through
So
the years, that just
you're
happens.
in effect, quote, letting go.
Yeah, not pausing even, just
delete.
letting go. They'll never know it. You know, if they ask me to be a friend again, I'll ignore it. But, you know, those electronic
You're a
things
harsh
happen.
woman,
She
aren't
just
you?
cut them off.
This is future now, but I do tell you that this is going to happen.
Okay.
So you can ask
Please
for
don't
an
pause
update.
me.
Well, you know, if I'm going to reach out to an old friend that I haven't seen in a while, I'm going to call him.
That's assuming
Or
their number
her.
still works.
It does, by the way. In the era of cell phones, that's easier because
Yeah.
nobody changes their number.
Their number, yeah.
No matter where they are. So I admit that. Or I actually got a email from a guy I knew in college, and he said, "Just wondering what you're doing after all these years." And so he reached out to me, and now we've struck up a
That's nice.
Nice.
nice conversation. And you know that sort of stuff can work in odd ways. In some ways, you fall back into old patterns with the old role playing that you had in high school or college, and there's nothing new there, you know. And,
Yeah.
so sometimes it's just a little dull.
But
Other
sometimes-
times
Yeah, there's a danger.
there's
Sometimes-
a danger.
Yeah.
What?
Let me explain what that is.
I wish you would.
I had some high school friends that I friended, and they finally, after several months, answered my friend request. And
Yeah.
I actually got into a phone conversation with one of them. He was my bestie in high school's husband. They had divorced, and he brought up all the things that had gone on, and I'm going like, damn.
I don't need to hear this.
I don't need, yeah. I'm going like, that's enough, you know. So, like I said, sometimes there's a danger, and you really want to leave things the way they were. So you got to be kind of mindful of what you might get.
True enough. True enough. I'm reminded of when my late brother's ex-wife contacted me after he passed, wanted to get together for lunch. I said, "What's this all about?" So we did, and she spent an hour telling me what an a-hole he was. So, you know, you're right. There is some danger in that.
Yeah.
And so we didn't continue that round of conversation. Now, a lot of times also when you reach out, you get no reciprocity. We've alluded to it the other way when people reach out to you. Is that a reason to just pause or cancel or just quit?
Just let it go, I would say. You know, unless I have a strong need to reconnect with that
Yeah.
person,
Uh-huh.
I would say let it go.
And sometimes people don't check their Facebook page. I mean,
Well,
they're
that's
just
true.
on there, you know, to see pictures of people in the past or their grandkids or whatever, and they don't really look at the messenger to see that they got a message. I've had that happen, and they say, "Oh, I'm so glad that you did this. You know, how have you been? Blah 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 blah." So you just never know. I'd give it a couple of tries and then pause or cancel it.
And I guess the same would be true of friends that you've had a longer time and suddenly realize that it's only one way. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that happens all the time. So, well, if you had to sum up your concept of friendship and how they've evolved and how they should evolve or are evolving, do you have any wrap-up thoughts about any of that?
I guess I would just refer to a book where a friend of the road versus a friend of the heart. And it is a book called Just Friends. And it actually does help you evaluate the importance of where are we here with a friend.
And when you say a friend of the road, you mean the road of life?
Through road of life, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I got it.
Yeah, for me, it would be just assessing my friendships, making sure I invest in those friendships. I think that's important. And also If there's something that's negative or I'm not sure of, question it and then move on.
Okay, and you know, we started off with a sort of a definition that I threw at you guys, that friendship being the sweetest influence, and it can be, it can be a very positive influence on your life, and a very, as we emphasized this year, a very big part of your feeling of well-being.
Absolutely.
If you have good friendships and people you can rely on and enjoy things with, then that's great. So, okay, we've got to wind it up, girls. We're out of time, but this has been a great conversation, and we hope we get some feedback from viewers, and we will look forward to seeing you next month when we again shoot the breeze.